Game 3 of the NBA Finals tomorrow night. Heat 2.5-point underdogs, according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. This despite 1, the game's in Miami, and 2, they're coming off that huge road win in Denver. Shannon, before we get to Skip, do you think odds makers are underestimating Jimmy Butler in Miami?
No, I don't think they're underestimating him. I mean, for the most part, Skip, with the last series and this series, they've both been, even though they've won the game on the road, they've always come home and been a 1 to 2, sometimes 3-point underdog, and here they find themselves again as a 3-point underdog. I think there's just a lot of value in the Denver Nuggets, considering they've been basically the #1 seed in the Western Conference for an extended period of time. They have the best player in the series, so they have 2 of the 3 best players that are in the series, and they just have a lot of confidence in the Denver Nuggets. I don't think the Heat are being undervalued. I just think they think the Nuggets have the better team. And when you think someone, and look, Vegas is not, they don't really care about, this or that. They're trying to win money. And right now it seems to be that everybody is still betting their money on the Denver Nuggets. Now, we could see this line between now and tip-off, Skip. It might come down. I don't see it going up, but it might come down. But I think the proper value is where it is, considering that the Heat has did steal a game on the road. They played very, very well at home. But I don't think they're being undervalued. I think there's just a lot of value with the Denver Nuggets and what they represent. So I'm not surprised that the Heat are an underdog.
I'm going to ask the odds makers what I keep asking you. When will you ever learn about this Miami Heat team? I have never in my career seen anything like this Miami Heat team. Do you need to bring this in? You can bring it in. You go ahead. There you go.
You get you some TV time.
Yeah, there you go.
Go ahead.
You can't be without your ammunition.
Go ahead.
Okay. So here's the point. Over this playoff run,
right?
Think about this. 10 times the Heat have been underdogs and outright won the game. 10 times. That is an all-time NBA playoff record. And we still got at least 3 games to go, right?
Well, if you bet with the Heat, you won a lot of money thus far in the playoffs.
Okay. So then here's the other side of this.
Okay.
They have 7 postseason wins after trailing by at least 10 points, 10 or more points.
Right.
That's impossibly great,
right?
Because it just doesn't happen that frequently in the NBA playoffs. It's just hard, especially when during the season you rank 25th in offensive efficiency, and during the season you rank 27th in three-point shooting, right?
What's most impressive about the stat that you just gave, think about how many of those games have come on the road. You understand teams come from behind at home, Skip, because the crowd get into it. You make a couple of threes, the crowd get into it, you're right back in the ball game. But for them to do it twice against Boston, Boston had a 13-point lead, and to do it again against the #1 seed.
What they just achieved in Game 2 was all-time extraordinary, and it's not getting the credit it deserves because it's starting to be ho-hum for the Miami Heat to do this to superior teams.
Right.
I've given you all along, Bucks are better than the Heat, at least on paper. The Celtics are way better than the Heat, at least on paper. Oh, Denver is way better than the Miami Heat, at least on paper, but not on the floor. Not when the ball gets tipped, because this team has become a force of basketball nature, the likes of which I've never seen, because Cinderellas don't win NBA championships. It's too many 7-game series to fight through, and you're going to get exposed as an 8-seed fraud. At some point, somebody will expose you. It's too many games.
Well, Skip, they're only the 2nd seed to make it this far. The Knicks made it, but they were swept by San Antonio in '99. Now, think about it.
Remember, that was a strike shortage that they played only 50 games. Okay? And but Patrick Ewing was hurt. So go ahead. Okay.
But so you have to give the Heat some credit, Skip, because they've already won more games than that Knicks team. So we know they're not going to get swept. And now they come home having stolen home court away from the Denver Nuggets. So, Skip, when you look at it, you're like, this is an 8 seed. It's hard. How do you get that out of your mind? Even though Mike Malone says this is not your typical 8 seed, but they are. They're 8 seed. I don't care what you try to make them out to be. They came into these playoffs as the 8th seed.
Okay. And then what happened? They lost at home to the Hawks, the Atlanta Hawks that I never loved all year. And guess what the rebound advantage was for the Hawks that night? This is at Miami. 63-39. Right. Hawks battered them, bullied them on the backboards. 63-39.
Capella had like 20-something, right?
Offensive rebounds. It was absurd what happened to this team. No rebounds, no rings, said the godfather of the Miami Heat, Pat Riley, once upon a time. And then you jumped on the Bulls bandwagon, and I did not blame you. I'm not ridiculing you for this because everybody did. And I wrote it down, with 3:47 left in the game, the Bulls were up 3 points. 3:47. They are 3 minutes and 47 seconds at home from being eliminated from the play-in, not the playoffs, from the play-in. And Jimmy Butler, with 2:17 left, hit a driving layup that put him up one, and they hung on and survived. That's all they did was survive. And before you knew it, they had eliminated the Milwaukee Bucks, the best defensive team in basketball. I don't care what you say. That between Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez and Giannis, that's the best defensive team in basketball. That's the best that I saw all year. I know the Lakers came on late, but
consistently throughout.
Yes, consistently throughout. This is the best. Heat in 5, huh? And Drew Holiday said after that series, I don't care. You could have Michael Jordan in his prime, LeBron in his prime, sitting in the chair, as you say. None of those guys, neither of those guys, could have stopped Jimmy Butler, who was making shot after shot after shot on Drew Holiday.
What was that, game 4? He had 56?
It's ridiculous. Okay, too good. Okay, Heat in 5. And then here come the Knicks, and the Heat were a slight underdog to the Knicks because the Knicks had arrived. They were on the rise, but they had arrived in most people's eyes.
Yeah, because they had beaten Cleveland.
Yeah, and looked pretty good doing it. And I thought they were legit. And what happened? It took 6 games, but the Heat prevailed, and nobody really noticed until, wait a second, here comes Boston. And then everybody said prohibitive favorite Boston. Games 1 and 2, they were 8-point and then 9-point favorites at home. And you know the rest of the story. The Heat go up 3-0, then lose 3 straight. And everybody presumes they are going to be the victims of NBA history because Boston's going to be the first ever to come back from 0-3 down to win it in 7 games because they got game 7 at home. It's not on the road. It's at home. They got blown off the floor in game 7. It was a complete and utter annihilation and embarrassment for Celtic pride and Celtic nation. And you say, wait a second, is this legit or not? Game 1, it looked like a mismatch at Denver. For the most part, they rallied back in the fourth quarter, and they hit 6 out of 12 threes. And I said, well, maybe they'll take some of that momentum into game 2.
They did.
And they did. Max Strus goes 0 for 10 in the first game and 0 for 9 from 3. And he comes out in the first quarter and says, no, I got this. He made 4 out of 7 threes and kept them afloat.
Yeah, he did.
And then yet late second quarter, they go up by 13. 13?
The Nuggets went by 15.
No, 15. They went by 15, and I'm saying, that's it. On to game 3. Maybe they can win a couple of games at home. And they fought back. It's only a 6-point game at halftime. Then Jimmy Butler goes 0 for 5 in the third quarter, while Jokic scored 18 in the third quarter. And just in the second half, he looked invincible, scored 28 of his 41.
Well, the thing was, Skip, he scored 18 in the third, and even though he was doing his thing, the Heat had to feel good that, he went crazy, but we're only down 6.
Okay. They're down 8 going to the fourth quarter. And all of a sudden, Eric Spoelstra pushes the Duncan Robinson button.
Duncan Robinson.
What? And it wasn't 10 straight, but he scores 10 quick points in just under 2 minutes.
Well, he outscored him 10-2 by himself.
10-2. He goes 3, driving layup, 3, driving layup, and the second 3 was just a flat-out, in-your-face bomb. And you look up, and an 8-point lead is evaporated into a 3-point Heat lead, and they never looked back. And they were up 12 with 3.5 minutes left. And it got tight, and Jamal had a last-second shot, so you can say, well, but still, the odds makers are still saying, no. They're saying exactly what they said in the Milwaukee series and in the Boston series. When they go back to Miami, these teams are still superior to that team. And so this game coming up tomorrow night, it's a 3-point game in favor of the visiting team. And I keep saying, okay, it's about to be shame on you because you're going to swing and miss again because this team is legit, even though over the last 7 games, Jimmy Butler has not been playoff Jimmy.
Right.
He's been way off Jimmy. He's averaging 21, 7, and 7, which sounds okay, but you would think they're solo star.
Well, that 21, 7, and 7 doesn't make you playoff Jimmy.
No, it does not.
It's the Herculean
Well,
numbers
you just said 56 does.
Yes,
or
the 35 and
35.
10. The game 5 in the finals against the Lakers.
Oh.
That makes you playoff Jimmy.
Game 1 against Boston at Boston, 35. I'll
Right,
go with that.
right.
But 21, and guess what he's shooting from the floor over those 7 games? 39%.
Yeah.
That's way off
Yeah,
Jimmy,
yes,
right?
yes.
And he was 7 of 19 in game 2. And you would think, well, that's not good enough to get you through. It was good enough.
Right.
I still don't quite get how they do it, but this is the classic. Look, LeBron doesn't live here anymore, right? Like these are the non-LeBrons. So we keep looking back at what LeBron and D-Wade and Bosh did, and they won 2 championships.
Right.
They lost a couple, but they still got to 4 finals
Right.
and won 2 of them.
Correct.
This looks nothing like that because
no.
Jimmy is not seen as that big. He's a star, but not a superstar.
Right.
Bam is looked at as a 6'9" 5, as in center,
Right.
as in
Right.
overachiever.
Right.
He's the hardest working man in show business. I've never seen anybody sweat like he sweats, and he will scratch and claw you to death. But is he a gifted dominant? Is he a joker? No, he's not a joker. Okay, so now we're talking about 4 undrafted players who contribute heavily. Right. We're talking about a Tyler Hero who broke his hand in game 1
Right.
against Milwaukee and was a 20-point-a-game scorer.
Yeah, this is a vastly different team because you look at LeBron at that time was the best player in basketball. D-Wade was a top 10 player. Chris Bosh was a perennial all-star. And even the role players, Mike Miller was a top 5 pick. Ray Allen was what he was. Rio was the first-round draft. Skip.
Aaron Rodgers returned to Jets practice this week after previously dealing with that strained calf. Head coach Robert Saleh told reporters the QB provided some, quote, wow moments when Rodgers took the field. All right, Shannon, you think this is a positive sign?
I think it's a great sign. Hopefully the calf holds up all season long. I'm anxious to see him out refreshed. I don't think he really wanted to be in Green Bay anymore. We know they didn't want him to be there anymore. He has a team. This team believed with the quarterback last year, they could have been a playoff team. They bring that defense back. They add Aaron Rodgers. Garrett Wilson should be better. They brought in some more pieces. I'm anxious to see what they can do. They should make the postseason. Of the 9 teams that failed to reach the postseason last year in 2022, the Jets are the only one with a 50% or better chance to make the playoff this year. It just goes to show you they put a lot of confidence. Not only analytics, but the bookmakers. Vegas says, man, with Aaron Rodgers, this team should be a playoff team. I hope he's able to go through the season injury-free. I hope he's able to get back to being Aaron Rodgers and he's focused because I want to see just what he can add to the New York Jets.
So you're back on the Aaron bandwagon at this moment.
No, I'm just saying, I wanted to be healthy, Skip, because I don't want to do no excuses. I already had a nagging injury, my car broke down at a JFK or whatever, George Washington.
Dog ate my home.
Yeah, I don't want none of that.
I thought his recent remarks or confession to The Athletic indicated that the calf really wasn't a problem, that it was just an excuse he was making to make sure he didn't participate in OTAs because he just doesn't stoop to participate in OTAs. And I'm going to reiterate these remarks to you. We talked about them, what was it, last week? Aaron said to The Athletic, when I'm in, I'm all in, and you want to ride with off-season workouts? I won MVP without doing off-season workouts. Like, was my commitment any less then? And he goes on to say, I think all this negativity, all this criticism of him missing these OTAs, he said, I think that's just a cop-out written to try and find something to disparage me about. Honestly, when you know what off-season workouts are really all about, it's completely ridiculous, said Aaron Rodgers of off-season workouts. So just to spite everybody, I think his calf healed up yesterday, and he said, okay, I'll give you one of these.
Right.
And I'll go out, and I'll light it up for you. I'll give you some.
He can still spin it.
Saleh said, well, he'll be able to spin it when he's 50. No, he will, because you can. It's just, that doesn't go away.
Right.
burning desire goes away.
Correct.
And in this same story I read last night, according to the source associated with the team, the Packers weren't satisfied with Rodgers' commitment and effort, not only during voluntary OTAs, but on a day-to-day basis afterward. That was the issue in Green Bay.
Yeah.
It is already rearing its ugly head in New York with the Jets.
Right.
My issue is you're not back in Green Bay, and
Right.
you don't know the system as well, even though you got Nathaniel Hackett there. But
the players are different, Skip.
Except for Lazard and Randall Cobb. I got it. And you got a Garrett Wilson, who's the offensive player of the year, rookie of the year. And you got to figure him out.
Right.
Tom Brady would be figuring him out right now. You know, and I know that's just the way Brady was built, and you're not.
Right.
Okay. So when he basically admitted, I don't really have a calf injury. I just don't want to do this because I'm Aaron bleeping Rodgers and you're not. I don't do that here.
That's what Manning did when he went there and he started throwing with Dak and DT and Julius Thomas.
He did. Oh, did he?
Yeah. I mean,
and right away, MVPs started happening. He should have won two of them.
Isn't that what you should do? You go to a different location?
Yeah. I'm not setting the bar high here. This should be business as usual.
Yeah, it should be like
you're starting over with the new team, right?
Yes.
It's just if you're the quarterback and they're the receivers, isn't that essential to your success next year?
You would think.
Okay. He feels like Aaron does, approaching age 39, that he's on cruise control. It just feels like he has some semi-retirement going on in him where, look, he's been there and done all this. He's won his 4 MVPs. He's got a Super Bowl ring. And again, if you want to pay him $50 million to go to New York, he'll have his fun, enjoy the Big Apple for a while. But is he going to take it that seriously? He's not taking it that seriously.
For me, Aaron, I mean, I don't really. My thing is, I want you to do well, but I want you to miss me with the excuses when you don't. That's where I am with this.
Yeah.
I want you to do well. Because I'm a fan of the league. I played in it. I love the league, and I want
you have been a huge fan of his.
Yes, just of the play on the field.
Sure.
But all that other stuff and all the excuse making and all the body language, now you can miss me with that. So I want you to do well. But when you don't, I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear nothing about this no new team.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time.
No
because
time.
you had the offseason to get that time in.
So Ian Rappaport reported yesterday that the New York Jets have decided not to hold their mandatory minicamp next week because of the approach of the looming earlier training camp. You can't tell me that Aaron Rodgers didn't have input and impact upon that decision, because I think he told his new head coach, I don't do any more of this, and we should just forget about what we got left here. Let's just wait for training camp. I'll be there. We'll start figuring it out in training camp. It's endless, those training camps, as you well know. Okay, so this is starting to smack of meet the new Aaron Rodgers, same as the old Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, right. It says the Jets have the hardest schedule in the league from week 1 to week 12. 8 of their opponents made the playoff last season. Robert Salas did say the Jets are one of the 6 to 8 teams that realistically. I mean, that was your coach saying. That ain't us.
Yeah, well, I buy that. I do buy that, because they're a talented football team without a quarterback.
Well, they got a quarterback now.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's what he said. You know, he did what he did.
They have a quarterback in body, but do they have him in spirit? You know, is he really all in?
All in, yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't smell that way to me.
You know what, Skip? I mean, maybe he's waiting for training camp, and maybe he's waiting for the season. Maybe he's like, you know what? All this other stuff don't mean anything. I need the games to count. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, I can guarantee him one thing. The games are really going to count.
Yeah.
And he is going to feel more pressure than he's ever felt in his career, because he eased into the job in Green Bay, and once he got it, he was ready for it. And then once he broke through and won the Super Bowl, he was a made man.
Right.
And year after year, I think the pressure actually decreased on him.
And then we blamed everything else, like Mike McCarthy. Although I don't think Mike McCarthy is the greatest coach.
I don't
We talk about the defense that do this, that do that, and then come to find out, guy right there got beat by Jimmy G. Got beat by Jerry Goff.
He did.
And Tom Brady came and beat the brakes out of him.
Beat the brakes out of him. That was his first ever home NFC Championship game, and he stunk.
Guys, Aaron Rodgers certainly has been enjoying the city. He's posting on social media about a big night out on the town where he took in Wicked, some theater-type things.
Now he went to this Taylor Swift concert. I didn't have him paying for it with me, but okay.
Was Austin Reeves there?
Nah, there you go. See, there you go. I don't ask him. I'm doing journalism. I don't do that.
You don't do it?
He's a
I don't
modern
think
man,
that's tabloid.
well-founded.
Get away. Get
Man
away.
of many tastes.
Say, see the person come along with playing in L.A.? Okay.
Playing
She gonna write a song about JR. Be careful.
Ooh, that would be interesting, Shannon. I'll take you up on that one. All right, guys, we got a special guest joining us up next. Eddie House back with us. He's going to break down Game 3 and tell us who wins. That's next, right here on FS1.